Welcome back, everybody, to Kicking in the Second Half, KISH YZ. We have a special episode for y'all. Well, it's special to us. This is episode 20. Let's go, Hubert.
Let's go.
Nope, that's not what you said.
Where are we going?
We're going straight back to the Lakers versus the Brooklyn. This is part 3. We keep talking about these teams, Hubert. Why? Because they're in the news. And why? Because we can't really get outside of this box of what to think about, what to do next. So let's get into it, Hubert. But first, I would like to say this is Limb Loss Awareness Month. So in regards to that, I'm willing to donate $1 to the Limbs for Life Foundation for every subscriber that we have by the end of the month. We're currently at 29. We had 30. We dropped one. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll get up. I don't think it will, but if you are wanting to contribute to that and contribute to our community by subscribing, please do so. And if for some reason it goes over 100, Hugh, you're going to cover that tab there. So, get those subscriptions up for us, please. And once again, for the Limb Loss Awareness Month, they encourage you to wear orange in support for that. I don't have any orange on today, but I've worn orange in some of the other videos that I mentioned, the limb loss awareness. So once again, this has been Kicking in the Second Half, KISH YZ. So let's get into it. I'm your host, D, and I got my co-host over there, Hugh. Say what up, Hugh.
Hello.
I said, say what up, Hugh.
What up, Hugh?
Hey, there we go, bro. Hey, are you tired of talking about the Lakers versus the Nets?
Slightly, but we got a lot of things to talk about with them, so I understand. We're gonna keep grinding. We grinding, bro.
Yeah, when you say a lot of things to talk about, what things are particular stand out to you?
Well, with the Lakers, you got some injury updates. Those guys will come back soon, so that's there's hope in LA, and then Brooklyn, you got KD got hurt again, Aldridge retired, so things are trending up for the Lakers and trending down for the Nets right now.
I want to spin your words around because you said with the Lakers injuries, we have hope there. What do we have in Brooklyn over there? Do we have a lack of hope? Because if you recently saw in the news today that James Harden had a setback in his rehab, he might be out for up to 3 weeks. Did you not know that, Hubert?
I did not know. I was unaware of this.
You did not know that. Yeah.
No. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, at least when's playoffs? A month? Well,
playoffs, yeah. The play-in tourney, I think, starts May 18th, runs through the 21st, and the playoffs follow right after. So May 22nd, so it is April 20th. So, yeah, you got 32 days, 31 days from now.
Huh. No, I was unaware of that, though. Yeah, hopefully they are.
Once again, that's my biggest issue with them is the court time of the big three. When are we going to see that? Will we see any of it before the end of the regular season? And is that enough to get any form of chemistry between these three when it comes to clutch moments?
Is that a question?
Is it a question, Hubert? What do you think about it? I want to hear.
Well, I've said this probably 10 times on this podcast, but I'll say it again. I do think that it is important to some degree for them to get their chemistry right, play on the court together. But then again, they are all professionals. They're all experienced. They're all veterans. And I think they, no matter what, should be able to make it work. If they don't, then something needs to happen there. Maybe pull one of the guys out and have them play with the second unit or whatever they decide to do. But no, I think, like I've said, I think they're veterans enough. They've all been in the playoffs. KD and Kyrie have rings. Harden's been to the finals. So, I just think that they,
conference finals.
Oh, conference finals. My bad. I thought I must be some, sorry about that. Yeah. But yeah, so, more playoff experience. They all have playoff experience. And I always think, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter because obviously it does to some degree, but I think you're not talking about like 3 young guys here, 3 guys who, haven't been in the league very long or haven't been made deep playoff runs or anything like that. You're talking about 3 guys with experience. And I think they'll be okay.
This stretch of time right now is crucial though, Hubert, because like you said, they're not 3 younger guys, but they do have some young pieces that they're trying to work into their system because they're having to backfill due to the injuries. Not only is Harden out, but Durant is also out as well. His doesn't look like anything serious, but that on and off court time there and Kyrie's on and off personal court time. Like I said, when will we see this group come together and form some type of unity for chemistry to trust each other down the stretch? Yeah, these are incredible players that are going to provide scoring, lots of offensive power. There's no doubt about that right there. But it's just like I said before, those clutch moments, those down the stretch moments, those teams that are going to give you the tough D because of it's the playoffs and they're coached very well in a 7-game series. That's my concern. But I mean, will we have the big three by the time we have the playoffs? Will we have them together? They just lost LaMarcus Aldridge. He retired due to health concerns there. So you're already down a man, in my opinion. Yeah, he's not one of the big three, but that was a contributor that they were looking to rely on when it comes to, I'm sure, defense or matchups. When it comes to some of the big guys in the East, you got anything any hope there, Hubert?
Yeah, I have plenty of hope. And one thing you talked about, KD wanting to get off again. Obviously, that isn't ideal. But one thing, it doesn't seem to be affecting him. Like, he missed all that time and he came back, and I think he only played like 17 minutes or something like that his first game or something like that. But he still shot 5 for 5, didn't miss a shot. I know the game he got hurt. I can't remember who they were playing, where he hurt his thigh recently. You know who they played? I can't remember.
No, I don't remember off the top of my head.
But I know he only played 4 minutes, but it said he had 8 points and hadn't missed a shot that game yet before he got hurt. So it looked like he was going to go off that game, had 8 points in 4 minutes. So that was a awfully good start for him. But I think KD, he can miss some games, come back and be just fine. No rust at all. Really is what it looked like. But yeah.
Some of these accidents are freak injuries and they're minor, but in a 7-game series, you really can't afford to lose Kevin Durant under any circumstances. You can't afford to lose him. He has to be there and he has to play all the games. I mean, the first round, sure, if you have Kyrie and Harden, yeah, you could probably get through the first round with just those two guys to have enough chemistry between the two. But when you get deeper down the stretch and if you're trying to make it out of the East, you need Kevin Durant there.
Oh, I agree with you. Without Kevin Durant, yeah, I don't see him going out the East.
Hey,
without Harden, I don't even see him. Without Harden, I don't even see him getting out the East, to be honest.
What if Harden doesn't come back 100%?
Well, I mean, you said 3 weeks, so that'd still leave a week and a little bit before playoffs. And like you said, the first round, depending on who they play and if they're up in the series or whatever, let them sit a couple games unless things get close. But yeah, he should. I think he should be all right by then.
And the thing that bothers me about injuries when it comes to not just them but also the Lakers as well is because you don't want any of these to be re-aggravated, re-agitated, flare up in the playoffs because you just recently had that and you're not 100%. You're good enough to play, on a game-to-game basis or day-to-day, but to be able to go through a whole series with tougher defenses, more player usage out of you as far as more dependability and what you're supposed to be bringing to the team. Hopefully that's not the case with any of these teams. But let's swing over to the West Coast, to the LA side. What do you think about the AD and LeBron return? We talked about that not too long ago, that they were both looking like returning around the same time, but it looks like Anthony Davis is a couple days away where LeBron's a little bit further out.
Yeah, I saw AD. He's practicing though, isn't he? I think the last I saw, he's back in practice. But yeah, I think it's huge for the Lakers, man. I think it's huge. They didn't reel as much as I thought they would. I think they just dropped. Where were they? 4th when LeBron went out, and they're only 5th now. So I mean, yeah. I mean, they lost some games, but
maybe 3rd when they had both LeBron and AD.
Yeah, I think because
they were in front of the Clippers.
Yeah, I think when it was both of them, it was 3. But I know when LeBron went out, they were down to 4. When LeBron actually left, but yeah, I mean, I expect them to drop maybe to like 6th or 7th, but they only fell to 5th. So props to them. They even lost. I mean, they lost probably more games than they wanted, to be honest. But I mean, Portland didn't go crazy. They've been losing some games too, and whoever's behind Dallas is so inconsistent. So yeah, they were actually able to hold a pretty good position. They're not even in the playoff tournament right now. So I mean, I think if you're LeBron and AD, you don't have to come back and.
Can you see
Go
them
on.
getting into the fourth spot, the top 4? There's only a handful of games left. It's a little bit more than
Bro,
a dozen. I think it's about around 17 games or so.
to be honest, I have more. At first, I would have a week ago or maybe a week and a half, whenever it happened, I would be like, no, they're not going to do it. But now with Jamal Murray out, that's a glaring hole right there in Denver. That's a big loss. So honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they took it back. If LeBron and AD, but I mean, one thing too, they're going to come. They'll probably not play every game. They'll probably sit back to backs. They'll probably be on a tight minute restriction. So I could see it, but nah, I'm gonna keep him at 5th. I'm gonna keep Jokic is still, probably a lot of people's front runner for MVP. I think he's going to be able to do enough, and with their supporting cast, they got around him there. Even without Jamal Murray, I think they'll be able to hold on to that 4th spot.
Yeah, we're definitely going to touch on those MVPs in our next episode 21. But yeah, with what you're saying about Jamal Murray missing some time, that could drop him back a few games unless Jokic, he just has to continue playing on a high level. But then you have to throw in the effect of what I don't want to say load management in this instance, because he doesn't really need the load management. But, down the stretch with the playoffs, sometimes some coaches decide to rest their players because the playoffs basically happen instantly after the end of the regular season. You think that's something that they might need to do as Denver? If you're that dependent on Jokic and Jamal Murray is not going to be there for the playoffs, do you try to risk the factor of holding him out on some of these games if they're maybe just the back-to-back games or some of the home games when it comes to the last maybe 10 games of the season? Maybe he plays 5, maybe plays 6 or 7, but sit him some and rest, or just keep going with what you got to sustain. I'm not sure how close they are to Phoenix, but at least sustain the 3rd spot and not drop below 4.
It's interesting. That's an interesting thing to think about. I mean, I could see it both ways. I could see, that would probably be smart for Denver, especially with the loss of Jamal Murray now. It puts even more pressure on Jokic and more expectations on him. So, yeah, I think it would make sense, make sure nothing happened to him. But the thing, too, I think it all depends what the Lakers do. And, if the Lakers are, you got 10 games, let's say 10 games left in the season. And I mean, the Lakers are only game and a half, 2 games back. I'd be careful how much I'll sit them, because I would try to stay at that 4 seed. I try not to fall. So if they weren't really close, like if they had like a 2-game or more buffer, I would say, yeah, it would be smart to sit Jokic for a game or 2, or especially against, I don't know how the rest of their season is looking with who they're playing, but especially like maybe some lower teams that aren't in the playoffs or whatever, teams that are winnable games even without Jokic. Yeah, I would consider doing that. But yeah, if the Lakers, if they come climbing, if they're getting close, I would probably put Jokic in there and try to hold on to that 4th spot.
I mean, the reason why I mentioned this is because I said before about the resting of LeBron James is that's the trade-off that they're kind of getting with this minor injury he has. They're willing to, let him rehab through his injury, come back basically on his terms of when they feel like, he feels basically 100% at this time being. If they're sustaining out of the playoff tournament, sustaining 6 or better, then that's to their advantage, because that is more important than home court advantage, the health of your key main players, especially LeBron James himself, because when he's rested, that's obviously when he's at his best. He carries a lot of load and he does a lot of damage in the playoffs. So with him being fueled and not having to be slightly worn down during the regular season, that's why I was asking in comparison to Jokic, where he's obviously putting on an MVP caliber season, but down the stretch when obviously you're keeping your team where they're at, but you're also more dependent now, depending on your team's dependent on you more because of the injury of Jamal Murray. That's something that I think they definitely have to watch. But yeah, going back to the Lakers, LeBron, this is probably a smart move because of having AD come back first, so he can kind of get acclimated with Drummond a little bit. I felt at first that maybe they'll just bring AD and LeBron back at the same time, take a little bit of pressure off both of them. But this might not be a bad idea because they're going to have to figure out how these 2 big guys are going to line up. But I'm going to definitely like that defense, because if they have some good chemistry going on where they can both play on the court at the same time, that's going to be a lot of length, a lot of coverage. Drummond's known for his rebounding. He could be known for his defense. If you play fantasy basketball, you see he gets a block a game, plus probably combined for almost 3 total between points and steals on average. And the same thing with Anthony Davis. He was runner up for Defensive Player of the Year last year. So putting those two guys together and getting them some floor time together and some chemistry, that's going to be deadly on defense. And that's how the Lakers win games. That's how they won the championship last year. It wasn't necessarily offense like what we're going to try to see with the Nets. It's defense. The defense is what motivated their offense. Turnovers, the fast breaks. They're great off the fast break. And like I said, the rest of LeBron on top of that, this is going to be kind of diddly. But that's if they can sustain their health. We don't want to see the players come back and then re-aggravate an injury or have any setbacks during their rehab.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, man. That would be the Lakers' worst nightmare. Well, in Brooklyn too, in my opinion. Like I said earlier with Brooklyn, I could see I don't think they're making it out the East without Harden or KD. You can make an argument with Kyrie, but I mean Kyrie's he's still a great player. So maybe that even them too. But yeah, the Lakers, if either one of those guys, re-aggravate their injury and go down, I think that's tough for the Lakers. I don't know. The West is pretty stacked. I don't know how far, in my opinion, they would make it if one of those guys re-aggravated an injury.
I mean, if one of those guys re-aggravated the injury and couldn't play anymore in the playoffs, it just depends on which guy, in my opinion. Like I said before, I feel like LeBron James can carry the team potentially to the Western Conference Finals, and then it'll be tough, assuming that he has Drummond by his side and all the other pieces. I don't think the first round will be a problem for him. I could possibly say the same thing for Anthony Davis, but he's less of a floor general. Obviously, he doesn't play the point like LeBron can as far as changing up his position. He can basically play this power forward and shift down the center in a different type of lineup or in a smaller ball lineup. But outside of that, maybe they make it past the first round with just AD if LeBron was to be out. But if AD's out and LeBron's playing, I think they could potentially make it to the Western Conference Finals, depending on definitely matchups, as long as they stay out of the play-in tournament. But with both of them, yeah, obviously that's what they want to see and have on the court, is bring that energy back, their leadership back, and acclimate Drummond. But you touched on the Nets as well, like the same situation over there. But at the moment, it looks like it's been the Kyrie show. I think they won their game today, and Kyrie single-handedly, he can carry some games in the regular season to finish this off. But I do want to ask, on top of that, can you see the Brooklyn Nets getting back to the number 1 spot? I think they're only half a game out from underneath of Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely. Those teams have been switching back and forth for a little bit. I think Philly's kind of held it for this past week or so. But before that, it seems like every day it was flipping back and forth. But yeah, only half a game out. I mean, anything can happen. We just saw the Warriors yesterday? Yeah, yesterday beat Philly. They didn't have Simmons or Tobias Harris, but they still had Embiid.
We know,
Curry torched.
We both know what it takes for the Warriors. They need Curry. Like, that's just bottom line. They have to have him on the court. But some of these other teams, they need almost their full squad. I mean, Kyrie is carrying, but when you talk about Philly and when they took that loss, they did have Embiid back, but I think you said they were missing Simmons and somebody else. So maybe we should be looking at the Sixers as the team that definitely needs to have all their players healthy. Yeah, Tobias Harris. So they're basically number 2 option, probably in scoring with Tobias Harris, and the number 3 option as far as handling the ball, making plays and scoring there. So yeah, missing those guys. Maybe that's what we need to be looking at is the Philadelphia 76ers. Are they the team to watch as far as having their health up to standard or up to par? Or is it smart for them to rest some guys? Is it smart for them to rest Joel Embiid? So this is a reverse of the Denver situation with Jokic, because Embiid was playing at an MVP level. Is it smart for Doc Rivers to occasionally rest him down the stretch, or is it more important for them to maintain that number 1 spot if they can for playoff seeding?
Personally, I think that's a tough one too, man, because I would try as hard as I could to be the number 1 seed, to be honest. But I mean, Embiid is the one guy. We've been harping on Ben Simmons a little bit. You called him overrated on that podcast we had, and yeah, I've kind of got on him with his scoring here lately. Hasn't really been up to par, but yeah. So I mean, and Tobias is Tobias. You know, he can go off any night. But yes, Embiid is that guy. He's their difference maker. In my opinion, he's you know, what sets him apart. Before his injury, you know, he's probably the people's MVP. So that's a good point. Me personally, I would try hard to keep the number one. That'd be my priority. But you know, if you know Brooklyn loses another two, or another one or two or something like that, and you get maybe a couple game lead on them, I would be open to sitting and beat a little bit, just kind of like what we talked about with Jokic. You know, you get a little bit of a lead, but yeah, I'd watch out for Brooklyn. I'd try to hang on to that number one spot. But yeah, it's just like you just touched on though a second ago. I mean, that's the one thing I would look out for with Philly is their guys, because I mean Embiid, you know, he couldn't really he put up a good stat line. He played good against the Warriors, but he just, you know, it's kind of like the guys around him didn't step up. Like Shake Milton, I mean, he's having an exceptional year, you know, balling, but I think he shot like 1 for 9 maybe, or I think he had like 2 or 4 points or something like that. So I mean, you know, he was starting, you know, played a ton of minutes because Simmons is out and he couldn't step up. And you know, Seth Curry played an amazing game, but yeah, it's just like I would watch out for their injuries. Well, they're not injured. Well, I don't know what Tobias is. I know Ben Simmons was. I think he had an illness or something, but I don't know why Tobias missed. But yeah, so that's something to keep an eye out for too, because I think you know, losing those guys could be more detrimental than Brooklyn missing one of its guys.
You know what? When I'm thinking of what we're talking about with this conversation as far as the seating, for me on the East, you know, you could tell me if you view it in this perspective as well. I feel like the top seeding is more kind of dependent on, I guess I don't know if I should use the word dependent, but kind of more so you're wanting to have that top seed as far as down the stretch, you know, considering that you're winning the first round, the second round, and it gets to like the Western Conference Finals. That home court advantage is what I'm talking about when it comes to later games. Because if you're looking at some of the Eastern Conference teams that would be in the play-in, that could be potentially sitting at the 7th and 8th. You know, what if it's the Wizards? Like, I don't think that's as big of an issue coming out the first round if you're healthy. But let's say it's the Philadelphia, Brooklyn, potentially, you know, in the Western Conference Finals, then the home court advantage could definitely be a big role. Or any other teams, you know, if it's the Bucks, but or you know, Miami Heat for some reason. But just looking at the top two teams there, Philly and or you know, Philly or Brooklyn, that's when it's going to be important if you make it to the Western Conference Finals and whoever gets that home court advantage there. But now we flip it back to the Western Conference, talking specifically about the Lakers. I kind of like where they're at. Like if they make it to fourth, they get that home court advantage in the first round. But you're talking about the Lakers team that played the Blazers last year. And I know the Blazers look like they've upgraded, and they have. And they're doing a pretty good job. But sometimes when LeBron plays certain teams, he just kind of almost has their number in a way where, you know, they kind of figure out how to get over the hump and overtake that team's energy, even if they're having a hot game, like what we kind of saw in the bubble last year. Granted, the Blazers had to play in to get to the 8th seed, and they were probably exhausted after all of those runs to make sure they got into the play in general, and then playing that extra game. But I think I like where they're at. But when you're considering a team like the Utah or Denver, and you're considering who they might be matched up down at the bottom after a play-in tournament, somebody's going to have to play the Warriors, bro. What do you think about that? Like, how tough is that with Steph Curry playing at the level he's playing at right now? Now, granted, I don't see the Warriors making it very far, or, you know, just depend on their matchup in the first round and the health of Curry. But in the first round, if they have some momentum or some energy, I mean, what do you think about that? Could we see a first round upset?
Man, I like this topic. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think the way Curry's playing right now, anything's possible. I mean, obviously, I don't expect, you know, a finals appearance or anything like that. I mean, most people didn't even expect us to be in contention for the playoffs without Clay. But I mean, yeah, Curry is just going off. I think 11 straight games with 30 plus points. I mean, the dude put up 49 last night on his brother. That's tough. But yeah, the dude's going crazy. I think he's made what 52 threes his last 6 games, something like that. Broke a record. So I mean, the dude's going dumb. dumb. I think all these games he was shooting over 50% from three. I knew last night it was 10 for 17. I mean, just crazy, crazy numbers. But yeah, so I mean, if his health, I mean, it all comes down to that. If they lose Curry, they're done. They're done. But yeah, shout out Curry, man. He's giving it his all. He's balling. He's proving the naysayers wrong that he can't carry the team. But yeah, yeah, I think I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think it would take a lot to beat any of those teams if we make the playoffs. But I mean, I
I
wouldn't
think
be
it's going to
shocked
be.
if Curry's playing the way he is.
I think it's just going to be tough in general for whoever, if it's the Utah Jazz or the Phoenix Suns. They're great teams, and don't get me wrong, I see them coming out the first round. But like I said, just depending on momentum and energy, what if the Dallas Mavericks are sitting in seventh? And Denver has to play Dallas, and they're short on Jamal Murray and Luka. We saw what he did against the Clippers in an uneven matchup there. So it's going to be tough in the West. Like I said, I kind of like, if you're asking me and you're a Lakers fan, about where the Lakers are sitting or where they could potentially be if they make it to the first spot, I think that's a great fit for them. That's probably their best option as far as mixing in health concerns, the return of AD and LeBron, and not making the play-in, not having to do the play-in spots, and your first round matchup. I think, yeah, that's going to be crucial because, yeah, you might be sacrificing home court advantage throughout the rest of the playoffs, but you're also getting the health, and you might be getting a better matchup in the first round.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the West is crazy right now with the injuries and players coming back from injuries and Curry going off, and I mean, it's just a lot of factors right now. Denver was you spoke highly on Denver all season, but and they've been balling, they've been winning games, and yeah, Jamal Murray's loss is huge. Utah now Donovan Mitchell out at least a week, I think is what they're saying, but I mean they're still in first, but I mean even that yeah, it's just a lot of moving factors in the West, and I still think there's going to be some moves around the standings, some teams going up and down. The Clippers in Portland are playing right now, so I mean whatever happens there could factor. Just tonight could factor the standing slightly, but yeah, man, the West is exciting to watch, and the East. I mean this whole playoff race this year is just amazing in my opinion. I mean the East. I think you have teams that are like fifth through I don't know 10th or something like that are just like 2 games apart or something like that. Like they're all so close. Like one team wins and like 2 other teams lose, and they go from like 9th to 6th in the standings from one game. I mean, it's just incredible to watch, and I think it's just gonna, down the stretch, what teams can pull it off, and what teams can't. But yeah, it's definitely exciting to watch right now.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's a tight race on either side, but with that play-in tournament style, you're extending the teams that are still in the race to get in there, and it's not over until it's over. It's not over until May 21st. And we talked about a team like the Wizards that could possibly all of a sudden make it in there now, with the way they've been playing in the games they've been winning. They can easily sneak up just enough to maintain that spot just to make it into the play-in tournament, and then win those games to make it into like a potential eighth seed. But then, if you're going against Philly or Brooklyn, that might be a different story there as far as making it out of the first round. But a team that looked like about a month ago, okay, I guess they're not really serious about making the playoffs, to okay, they're a threat now because they're riding some type of momentum of energy.
Yeah. Shout out to Washington, man. Uh, I don't think they played today, but I know yesterday they won, and it was a five game win streak for them. So yeah, I mean, I think just like we did a podcast maybe a month or so ago about teams and where they stand, and we said Washington, hang them up. They have no chance of making the playoffs, and look at them. I mean, they're right there.
They're right there, and with that format, they could be
Yeah,
right up in it, right up in the playoffs.
yeah. I mean, Russell Westbrook, what is it? I saw it's maybe a 7th consecutive triple double or
Why
something like
not?
that.
Why
Something like
not?
that. But I mean, the dude's balling. Bradley Beal is still balling. But hey, I want to shout out something. Last night with Curry putting up 49, he became the leading scorer in the NBA this season. So yeah, Bradley Beal's held on to that for a while now. But yeah, just last night, Curry passed him. I think he's up by like 0.4 or 0.6 on Bradley Beal now. But yeah, Bradley Beal is balling. Russell Westbrook doing his thing. And I think one thing that's helping Washington, not to get too focused on Washington, but is Russell Westbrook. He's shooting efficiently. He's not just pulling up from three all the time, kind of like we're used to seeing from him. He's taking smarter shots. He's getting to the basket. So yeah, when he does that stuff, I mean, you can see they're winning some games, win 5 in a row, and right there in the playoff contention now. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Washington make it the way they've been playing lately.
Yeah, it's that accountability. It's either self accountability or just being great teammates to each other and not just encouraging, but like I said, holding each other accountable. If it's Bradley Beal telling Westbrook, hey, we need more efficient shots, we need better playmaking as far as your offense and what shots you're taking. And then vice versa, if Westbrook is telling the team, hey, step up because we can make the playoffs. We're not out of it just because we're at this seeding currently. We could still get up there because there's more games to play. So it's going to be an interesting stretch. We're basically almost done in the matter of, like you said, a month left into the season, and it's crunch time for basically everybody, except for maybe the bottom 2 or 3 teams on each conference. But even still, with it being 17
Minnesota,
games, COVID and injury, I'm surprised we even mentioned them in the podcast at all. But yeah, Minnesota, Detroit. We don't need to talk about them. We'll just keep it going. A shout out to Sacramento because they're just a little bit out of the loop there, but they could possibly make it in. They're behind the Pelicans, and the Pelicans are sitting in 11th, so still tight right there for them. But yeah, Hubert, let's get into. I missed the segue earlier because we could have easily went into that when you're talking about the 49-point game, but let's get into a little bit of role play, bro, with, your Curry over there. I'm LeBron. Let's just start off with the rumors. People are out there, they're telling the news that I said that I wanted to recruit you to the Lakers during the All-Star game. And anytime I can have a shooter like you and or Dame, I'm not going to take that away. I'm just putting a bug in your ear. You don't have to stay at the Golden State Warriors forever. You can be there easily. I love to have you and, make it legit. I know your play style. I know how you play. I know you're about winning. And I know at some point those legs, unless you spend $1 million like I do on your body, you might need to take some pressure off of that.
That's it. That's the interesting picture, LeBron. No, but yeah, I'd be open to playing with you. I love playing in the All-Star game with you this year, but here's the deal. You want to play, you need to come to Golden State because I'm trying to finish out my career here. I'm loyal. Unlike you want to bounce around to all these teams. I'm staying put. So if you want to play together, is that something you want to do? You can come on over to San Fran over here. We'll make room for you. We'll trade Draymond. We'll trade Draymond.
I'll take Draymond. I like Draymond. On the court, no. Off the court, I mess with him. I don't mind Draymond. But I'll tell you what, let's say you got a pretty decent looking squad coming up for next year. But if y'all slip up and you don't make it that far next year, I want you to look into coming over. Maybe we can go to a team together. But yeah, I probably considered going to the Warriors. But after KD went there, I didn't want to follow in those footsteps. I wanted to lead my team to a championship. And I went to the Lakers, and we did that. We built the team, but we can have room for you. You're a great guy. I know what you're about, and I don't see why you couldn't be here. I mean, we got pieces lined up already. We got me, we got AD, we got our coach, we got Drummond. Maybe he might want to stay. We can easily put together a team. I'll even let you play point guard. If I can let Kyrie do it, I know I can let you do it.
Hey, if hypothetically I was to come over there, would you trade Kuzma? You get him out of there?
If we can get Kuzma, if we can get you for Kuzma, he's already gone, bro. You can have him right now.
Yeah, that would be one thing we would have to take care of there. But no, you wouldn't want to come to Golden State. We got a good lineup here. I mean, who's better than Steve Kerr? We got the Splash Bros. Clay's gonna be healthy next year. We got Wiggins, who's Wiggins. We got Oubre, who's Oubre. We got James Wiseman, a good young center. We got a little building blocks here. We got a little foundation. You can come over and help add to that without me having to go over there to LA.
Bro,
Y'all
I don't want to do this.
Bring AD with you.
I don't want to do this to you, but I mean, I'm in here in LA, and you know how LA fans are, and they've always been this way. It's win or bust here. And I say, why don't we come together and we do it for Kobe, bro? R.I.P. Kobe. You know, he was a
Man,
mentor to a lot of us. And, you know, that spirit here, it stays in LA. You know, whoever comes through, you look up at the rafters, whose number is up there? It's Kobe, both jerseys. You know, why don't we put Steph Curry jersey up there? You probably only have to win one three-peat with me, and then you can have your number up there. I mean, you're right there with me. You're right behind me. I got 4 chips in the league, 4 chips on 3 different teams, and you got
how
3
many do
chips
I?
on,
How many?
on one
I
team.
got three. I got 3.
And, you know, I love to have you up there. Even if you win, let's say you win next year and you get 4 chips, we could be on the same page together and win 5 together. How would that narrative sound?
I mean, I ain't never gonna argue with winning, but I'm trying to stay put. Me and you got different thoughts on this. You want to, you want to go to Cleveland, you want to go to Miami, you want to go back to Cleveland, you want to go to LA. I want to
You
stay
were born
put,
in
man. I gotta,
Cleveland. You were born in
man.
Cleveland.
I ain't worried about where I was born.
You were born in
Hey,
Cleveland.
I moved from Cleveland to Charlotte '99. Nah, nah. I'm trying to stay put, bro. I'm trying to do it here. I got my boy Clay with me, my boy Draymond. We sticking through it. We all staying put, hopefully. And this
I
is what
got
we want
Clay's
to do it
daddy
at.
over here. I got Clay's
Man,
daddy. Michael Thomas played for us. He's still with us over here. He's chilling with us, man. He ain't in the Bay. He's in LA on the Lakers side. You think about that. If both of y'all want to come over, you bring both of y'all. We can get this done. We be deadly. Deadly.
I mean, I ain't gonna argue with that. We would be the nastiest thing the league's ever seen. But what about, man? We wouldn't leave. You think we would beat our own best record in a year? You think we would beat that?
I tell you what, if you come over, I'll challenge that record and I'll be there right with you. I'll even make you look like the MVP. And if they're considering who should be it, I'll give you the MVP.
Why don't you just come over here, man? Wouldn't you rather be coached by Steve Kerr and Frank Vogel, anyways?
I gotta do it
Who
for
the
Kobe,
heck is
bro.
that guy, anyways?
I
Who's
gotta
that
do
guy,
it for
anyways?
Kobe. I gotta do it for Kobe.
All right, finish. Hey, finish out the year. Come over here and let Kuzma lead the team.
I tell you what, bro, this is my opposition. Let me win 2 more chips here and get this three-peat knocked out the way. And then y'all draft my son, Bronny. I'll be over in a heartbeat. Guarantee, bro.
What position does he play?
Any.
I was gonna say he ain't taking mine. He ain't taking Clay's. Well,
Clay
he
can
want
move
Uber.
to
He
the
wants
small
small forward.
forward.
He wants
Clay
small
can move to
forward.
small forward.
Oh,
Bronny ain't done growing.
does Clay look like a small forward to you?
Yes.
Clay looks like a catch and shoot guy, specialist,
Yes. Do I look like a point
corner,
guard to you?
corner
Do I,
specialist. Shout
do I
out
look
your
like a
blood
point guard
36.
to you? I led the league in assists last year. Don't doubt your teammate's ability. I'll tell Clay, and then he'll want you off the team.
I'm leading the league in scoring this year. I'm actually playing this year.
Yeah, you almost have as many games. You probably got more games played this year than I do.
Yeah, facts, bro. I mean, yeah, I've been. Hey, how many times in your career you put up? I don't know why I'm turning on you now, but I am. You know how many straight games I put up 30 points right now? 11. How many times you done that?
Lots.
I don't know why I'm turning on you, but I am now. You say lots?
Lots.
You liar.
LeBron James.
Hey man, I appreciate you, LeBron. We tight, you know that, but I'm just trying to do it here. So if you want to team up, you go have to come here with me, man. It's simple as that. You ain't got no issue moving around, moving the fam. I'm staying put. Aisha got a career here. The kids going to school here. They love it here. I ain't moving.
I ain't moving until my son comes in the league, bro. If you ain't about it, I'm about to go call a game, bro.
Man, you think Dave gonna come over there? He wants to stay in Portland more than I want to stay in Golden State.
I mean, he a goat too. He feeling
You
like
say he's the
Will.
most underappreciated guy in the league, then go get up with him. Go make him appreciate it by giving him a chip or two. That'd be sweet of you.
Oh, I ain't going to get it. He coming over here. We're gonna get it together, bro.
What do you think everybody just gonna leave where they're at to come to you?
AD did it. What did he get?
You
A ring.
Hey, you being selfish.
Am I though? I'm doing it for Kobe.
I mean, bruh, we win here too. You act like we don't win. You act like you don't want to win. We beat you.
There's no I in one. Y'all won there. Y'all have won. We're winning here.
We
Winning.
have won in Golden State. No, I'm talking about chips. You act like we don't win here. How many times we
Y'all
didn't
have
beat you
won
recently in the
there.
finals?
We have 17 titles collectively.
Hey, I'm talking about me and you specifically here. Head to head. Let me ask you this, LeBron, because I know you probably know the stat better than me. Head to head, NBA Finals. What's our records? Because I don't know that, to be honest. We got more, don't we? What is it? 4-3?
3-1.
No, I'm. That was one season, bro. Hold on. Yeah, I'm serious. Do we have 4 and you have 3? Is that what it is?
What are you talking about?
Like, how many times have the Warriors and you played in the finals? And the Warriors have won what, 4?
4. The Warriors won 3, and the Cavs won 1. The Warriors went to 5 straight finals, but the 5th one was against Toronto.
Toronto. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was more than that. But okay. So see,
Yeah,
you act like
you were
act like my
exhausted
only chance
last
of
year
winning
when you
is to go to
after
the
5
Lakers,
straight. I went to 8 straight. 8.
bro. I fell on my rear end. I bruised it. It was all swelled up and whatnot. Missed a couple games. Come back and I'm doing this. You sprain your little ankle a little bit. Stand in the corner to make a 3 to solidify your double digit points. Then you just waddle off the court. You smack a chair. What the chair do to you, bro? And then you go and now you're missing all these games when you could be playing.
Oh, now you're ranting on
Man,
me,
you
bro.
should have seen how swelled
Don't
up.
talk
You
slander
should
on
have
my
seen
team.
how swelled up my rear end was.
Whoa. Don't talk slander there. Scoreboard. Where's your team sitting at right now, bro? Where they at, though?
Oh,
Where they at, though?
well, Clay's out all year, and we're exceeding expectations. I'm doing everything I can. Even my coach just said that he's never seen anybody ever in the history of basketball play like me. And he's right. And I mean, you're going to sit here and say that you're not impressed with this little streak I'm on? I think that's cap.
Bro, when I first came to the Lakers, man, we were like up there in the top 4 in the Western Conference with the baby Lakers before I got hurt. We were up against y'all on the Christmas game when y'all had Kevin Durant before I got hurt. Don't tell me about this, bro. I know how to do it.
Who won that game?
Solo if I have to. I'm just telling you, you don't have to do it solo.
Yeah, and I prefer not to. That's why next year my boy Clay's gonna be back. I hope you and AD stay healthy. Well? Hey, Boogie can come on back.
Harrison Barnes.
Hey, we can get. Hey, man, we'll bring Zaza. We'll bring all these guys back. We'll run it back. Get Sean Livingston back. Iguodala from Miami. Bring him back.
Why don't you just go ahead and go play over there in Brooklyn?
Well, wouldn't I be taking one of their spots? Well, Kyrie gonna come off the bench now? Well, no, Harden or point guard? I'm a point guard. I ain't nothing but a point guard.
You play. One of y'all gonna have to play small forward. That's all that is.
Well, Harden got height on me, so he can move over there.
I got a question for you, man. I've been wanting to ask you this. I meant to ask you this at the All-Star game during the 3-point Sprite contest, but you were locked in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are Cheez-Its flat goldfish? Yes or no?
Hell no.
Yeah, they are.
They don't even taste the same, bro.
Bro, they're the same. They're similar enough to be the same. It's like eating Pringles with different flavoring on them. They're flat goldfish.
LeBron, this is probably the most random thing I've ever heard you say.
You know, the random thing I've ever heard or saw was Draymond Green doing a foot-long commercial for Subway. That's random.
Hey, I know you get on them interviews with Drake, but did you hear Drake mention me? I got that 30 on my jersey. Man, I'm gifted.
I think he's talking
I know
about your
you. I know
daddy.
you hang out with Drake. He ain't
He's talking
about.
about your daddy. Yeah, 30 on the
Let me
jersey. Talking about your
let me
daddy.
ask you this,
Hey,
bro.
did he ever sell that
Bro,
piece of lint out of your head? How much that lint go for? How much?
the hell with you, bro. Hey, let me ask you something, LeBron. I'm just curious here on your opinion on me. You think I'm the greatest shooter of all time?
Oh,
I think you're the
hands
king.
down. I'm gonna give you respect, hands down. Only reason why I'm
I
pulling up
appreciate
deep.
you, game.
Only reason I'm pulling up deep is because I watch you do it against me for 4 straight finals. You think I'm gonna let you have one up on me? Yeah, you did it first and you're good at it, but I'm getting there.
Hey, I'll give you lessons.
Hey, I'm humble. If you want to show me how to be better at my game to beat you, I'm there.
Hey, it's all about the shoulders. You just got to square them up a little bit. You just got to square them up.
I like to
Yeah.
shrug mine after I end one.
There you go. There you go.
So you think we could beat Kevin Durant with this?
I mean, KD's my boy. KD's your boy.
Man, he wouldn't come to LA either, man.
Man, why don't you go get Jimmy Butler or something?
Man, I should have got him. One regret
should
right
have.
there. Not getting Jimmy Buckets. Underrated.
Chef.
Underrated.
Yeah, we can agree on that. Is that all you gotta say, LeBron? I've said about everything.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. My arm
Hey,
getting
I'm
tired.
showing what I do with my game, man. You showing what you do standing over there dressed nice on the sidelines on the bench.
Hey, real quick, check out Space Jam. It's coming in the theater soon this summer.
Oh, you got my boy Clay on there too, bro.
Hey, bro, yeah, he came to LA. We shot the film.
Yeah, sorry, I'm too busy playing.
Yeah, rehabbing and whatnot.
Yeah, see, I'm actually playing.
That's all right. I'm actually winning chips right now, so I'll talk to you later, bro.
Man,
Hey, let me know when you're going fishing in the off season, bro. Let me know when you go fishing. Call me on my cell phone.
I used to go with PG. Can I bring him?
You know he going fishing. You didn't hear that. That was Kawhi Leonard.
Man, you hanging out with Kawhi now, all right?
Yeah, he ain't come to LA either. Shaking my head. You came to LA, just not the right team.
Yeah. Maybe next time you can go. Hey, they lose like first, second round in these. You might be looking for a new team. You can probably pick them up.
We're probably gonna try to get Bradley Beal since you ain't coming over. So
we'll get Kawhi then.
He'll make a great third option.
Hey, remember he was the best player in the world when he beat us.
I guess that's what they
say. What do you think about that? You salty with that?
You think he was the best player in the world?
Man, Clay and KD were out.
So that made him the best player in the world anytime they go out, and I'm not in the finals.
Nah, I ain't saying he's the best player in the world. I'm saying we probably would have swept them with our lineup.
Hey, who showed up last year though? Was it the best player in the world? Yep, me. I was in the finals.
Yeah, I appreciate your game, bro.
Facts.
All right, Brian. It's been nice chilling with you and talking to you, my guy.
Facts.
Oh, here we go. We're bringing up Drake now.
Facts.
All right, I'm done.
All right, bro. I hope y'all found that amusing or interesting. If you're listening to that segment, that was just completely free-handed, whatever you want to call it. No script there. That was something that I just wanted to do just because we did it with the net side, and I got that freaking prop for it. So, I mean, I wanted that thing anyway, so I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna front on that, but I'm glad I could use it in that video though.
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a shout out real quick. Shout out my boy PG, what you call him. Shout out my boy B Cal. Yo, he ain't just like a sub for the number, bro. He was telling me last weekend he actually stays up to date and watches all our videos, and he was talking about how I told him, I was like, well, I appreciate it, man. I know you're not a big basketball guy, and he was like, no, I really like basketball. I just never really watch it or have nobody to watch it with. And he said he actually learned stuff from our videos. So yeah, shout out you, B Cal, my boy. Um, appreciate the
Yo,
support.
shout
Yeah,
out
hopefully
to
you're
PG
learning stuff.
and shout out to Russ, aka Gas, because I gave them those basketball nicknames. I don't even know if you call them that when you're around them, but that's how I referred to them to
I
you.
say PG sometimes.
And yeah, his name is not anywhere closely related to PG, but I call him PG. Big ups to PG for checking us out. I appreciate it. And if any of new listeners or viewers are watching this, yeah, that's what we're kind of here for. Some of this started out with our friends, just we wanted to give a channel and to give our opinions on basketball, but to also backfill some general information for players that are either playing like first time fantasy basketball or just not being able to keep up with basketball or just, kind of here and there, they've been out of the loop of basketball over the course of several years. I think we even have Dwayne paying a little bit more attention because he was, ragging on Joel Embiid a little bit, not saying he's a fan of his now, but just to fill him in a little bit. And he checked out some of his stats. So yeah, that's what we're here for. And once again, you mentioned before, we do PPFs on here where we do past, present, future, our projected future of individual NBA players. So if there's anything y'all want to see in particular, leave it in the comments. And that's what we try to do. Shout out to our boy Jeff, because he was basically the inspiration behind that for what we're doing in this channel, is to, give him some instances of, or examples of what we think of these players. And, if you didn't know this about this player, that this is his past, but this is where he's at now. And if he's basically on the incline or the decline of his career or the peak, just to give them a little bit of the inside scoop based on our knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out each and every one of you guys. We appreciate all the support. Yeah, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you really like this video, if you want to see more of our videos, check out our, if you want to see more shoes episodes or PPFs or debates or podcasts or all the other stuff we offer, hit the subscribe button, give us a subscribe. Me personally, when you give me a sub, I don't like tomatoes, so preferably don't put them on there. But yeah, give us a sub.
Yeah, I like that, Hubert. Hey, yeah, just let y'all know, if y'all haven't heard this before, he does not like the veggies. Don't like the veggies. He's just a straight meat man. I mean, he comes to work looking like Lady Gaga sometimes, just instead of a dress, it's a meat suit. It's a top and a bottom. Like, you definitely check that out. It looks like Walking Bacon instead of The Walking Dead. Like, that's what I would call it if he had his own YouTube channel, is Walking Bacon. So yeah, definitely. Thank y'all for watching and staying tuned with us. Thank you to all our subscribers that we currently have, and we hope to get more. Like I said before, earlier in the podcast, if you're listening to this, I would like to let everybody know that I'm planning on donating $1 to the Limbs for Life Foundation. For every subscriber that we have by the end of the month, I will do the donation on May 1st. Once again, this April is Limbs for Life. Limbs Loss Awareness Month. And we encourage people to wear orange to support that. You may know somebody who has, lost a limb or maybe born without a limb, but yeah, just show some support there. If you wanted to donate, you can go to limbsforlifefoundation.org. I did a small donation earlier this month. Shout out to PLG Gamer on Twitch, Phantom Limb Gamer. He was the one that got me onto this. I watch him if you like some gaming. Shout out to your bud 36 on Twitch and YouTube as well. He is a special guest sometimes on our podcast. And shout out to Micah from the Tavern Geek. I'm featured on there sometimes on the Tavern Geek podcast. They also have a YouTube channel, and they're available on Spotify and Anchor.fm. And so are we. We are on Anchor.fm, Spotify, podcast, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, under KISH YZ, the same as our YouTube page. And if you're listening to this on the audio only, check out our YouTube page. And you can follow us and hit us up on our Twitter and Instagram under KISH YZ, KISH_YZ for that. And like I said before, check out some of our episodes on YouTube with our shoes, our debates, and obviously our podcasts. And, we're going to get into some more stuff. Hugh, thanks for chilling with us, bro. Say bye to the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all have a blessed day or night whenever you're watching this. Come back and see more of our videos.
Yeah, thanks for kicking in the second half, everybody. Peace and love.